My name's Pete Wood, you're watching Hexham TV. Who are you?
I'm Dr. Deborah Brady. I'm a project manager of this Missing Lynx project, which is currently at Hexham Abbey.
So, Deborah, what is the Missing Lynx project?
So the Missing Lynx project is exploring the possible return of lynx, but in the context of the biodiversity crisis. So nature is in crisis in this country. Globally, we've actually lost 2/3 of wildlife on Earth. So 2/3 of wildlife in my lifetime, in 50 years, has gone completely. And then within that, so that's globally, but within that, we're actually one of the worst in Europe. So we're one of the worst countries in Europe in terms of how much we've got left, and we're in the bottom 10% globally, so across the whole world in terms of the intactness of our nature. So we are in quite a bad place within Britain, and we need to think about what steps we can take to try and restore nature. So thinking about whether species that are missing could be brought back could potentially be part of that solution, and that applies across a range of species, from water voles to pine martens to plants, and also includes thinking about whether as a society we would like to bring back lynx as part of that trying to reconstruct nature in this country. So the Missing Lynx project is an audiovisual experience with projections and touchscreens which allow people to explore what lynx is. As a cat, it's been missing from this country for quite a while, so a lot of people aren't familiar with it. Lynx do still exist across Europe, and we did have them here. We know that we had them here 1,500 years ago from evidence of bones, and part of the exhibition shows you people the timeline from the last ice age to now, and when we probably lost them. The abbey itself was built in about the 600s, so we almost definitely had lynx when the abbey was actually built, and then the abbey as we know it now, so the rest of the abbey was about the 12th century, and that's likely to be about the time that we were losing lynx from this country. So it is a while ago. Many people aren't familiar with lynx, so this exhibition introduces people to the idea of what lynx is and starts that conversation. So alongside the exhibition, there's a questionnaire where people can share their views about what they think about lynx reintroduction. There's also workshops, focus groups, so farming focus groups, business focus groups, forestry focus groups, and community focus groups. Workshops that have been happening alongside the exhibition, and interviews as well. So one of our social science officers has been going out to people and interviewing about this as well. So we've had about over 2,000 people through the exhibition, and about 400 people so far have filled in the questionnaire. So we'd be really keen for as many people as possible to fill in that questionnaire and join in, come along to the exhibition, join in with the workshops and those aspects of the consultation. We're at the Abbey for another week. We were here last week, we're here all of this week, and then there's a couple of weeks break and we're going to the Hancock Museum in Newcastle. We'll be there for a couple of weeks, and then we're going to Moffat in Scotland. So this is the 8th location that we've been to. So the funders, there's 4 main funders for this project. The two main funders are conservation foundations, so the Ecological Restoration Fund and the Oak Foundation, and then there's 2 other funders, another ecological foundation, Carmen Family Foundation, and a tool hire company is also contributing an amount to it. So we've got one of the plinths at the exhibition is a touchscreen, and it's got answers to lots of questions like that, so people can come along and learn and hopefully find out the answers to their questions. But also we've got staff here to talk to with questions about the project and anything that people want to know.
What sort of animal is the lynx, and what would its impact be if it was reintroduced locally?
So lynx is a medium-sized cat, about the size of a Labrador, but a slim Labrador. Lynx are found across Europe. In the 1950s was the low point for lynx in Europe, and in the sort of last 50 years there's been reintroductions of lynx across Europe to bring them back. So that's part of the story that we've got on the timeline at the exhibition as well, if people would like to learn more about that. But over the last 50 years they've been brought back across Germany, France, Switzerland, Slovenia, many other countries. So Lynx have been brought back across Europe and are doing better now, but as an island, we would need to think about whether we also want to be part of bringing lynx back as a species. Lynx are a specialist predator, so they're a top carnivore, and they eat roe deer. So lynx eat roe deer, and 80 to 90% of their diet is roe deer, and they also, the next common thing that they eat is rabbits and hares, so lagomorphs, and then a number of other species at a very low level. But most of their diet is made up of roe deer. There is a risk of sheep predation, and that's very much part of the conversation that we're having through this consultation and the exhibition, is talking to farmers around the risk of livestock predation. Livestock predation, there's a risk in Europe from very little to areas where there's quite a lot, and then a lot of countries fall somewhere in the middle. So the experience of France and Germany has been in the middle of that range. So the farming focus groups will be looking at that range of experience across Europe and thinking how that might apply to this area, and if a reintroduction was to ever happen, how that might be managed. This project doesn't automatically move on to a reintroduction. So this project, the Missing Lynx project, is a consultation process. It's exploring what people think about the idea of potentially bringing lynx back.
And where can people find out more information if they can't come to the exhibition at Hexham Abbey this week, or at the Hancock next week? Where can they go online?
So there is a website, so if you look up just Missing Lynx project, you'll find a website. So there's a lot of information on the website, and as you mentioned, we're still touring around, so we're still going to the Hancock and we're still going to Moffat, and there will be more locations in the winter that we'll share, but they're not planned yet. So there will be more locations in the winter and into next year. But in the meantime, if you weren't able to come to the Abbey or the Hancock, have a look at the website and there's information there.
Deborah, thank you very much for talking to Hexham TV.
Thank you.